2 and Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Firsties. I'm your host, Mila. Today we're going to do a host-only podcast, which I'm really excited about. Before we get into this episode, I always like to say, for whoever is watching, listening, commenting, subscribing, I really, really do appreciate it. It means a lot. It goes a long way, so continue to do that. We have clips and behind the scenes on TikTok and YouTube, and then you get the audio on anywhere that you listen to your podcast. But be sure to follow us everywhere at firstiespod, that Firsties P-O-D. I think that's the first time I did that with no hiccups, and I'm very proud of myself.
Yes, girl.
And if you heard that is Mariam on behind the camera as well. We're going to have some fun with her today. So I want to start this episode with a quick story time. Now this is a really funny story time that happened recently. So as you guys know, my producer and closest cousin, Mariam, we planned on hanging out, and we usually hang out like what, 1 hour or 2 hours before we actually do. Like, it's never.
And I'll let you tell your side, because I don't even know what you're doing. Yeah. And I'll go to my side, because we never even debriefed this.
Yes. So as you can tell from the title, this episode is going to be talking about red flags. And so we planned on hanging out. This was after an early night or morning that I had, so I was pretty sleepy. But I think you reached out to me to hang out, like, really quickly. Oh, so yeah. So I just came from a trip, and, you know, us girls, Delulu girls, we always debrief.
Gotta do the recap, yeah.
Exactly. And she's my bestest friend, so of course I had to have her come over.
Literally the next day. Just got off the plane.
Literally the next day. And so she was like, hey, it was kind of late-ish, like 8, 9, which in Mila time, that's like past my bedtime.
Which I will say, I will partly take fall for. Because it was pushing 9, then a little 10. I was like, well, should be up.
You were coming from like a get-together or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Mariam's always outside. And so, I was like, yeah, come over whenever. I literally was like, skincare done, robe fully on, retainer in, like, we are ready for bed almost.
See, that's where you messed up. Because she also sent me a picture, guys. You can add it in if you want, where she's like face mask, like thumbs up, like glazed donut. Like, she was ready to knock.
9. And for me, anyone comment down below, you wear contacts too, right?
Yeah, I do.
When my contacts are off, the day's done.
That means you're going to bed.
It's almost like my body knows. Same way, does this happen to you when you wake up? Even if I keep my glass on the whole day, my body's actually not awake yet. When I put my contacts on, then it's like
100. It literally, like, I don't know. There's like a nerve, it clicks, and it's like, okay, now the day's supposed to start. Yeah,
there's a technical term that I heard once on a podcast, but I'm forgetting it. But yeah, it's that. So I was just sitting on this nice nice couch, just watching my Netflix, and then I doze off, as one does. Now, here's a very key point of the story. I was literally texting Mariam maybe 7 minutes ago, and we're really responsive with each other.
Yeah.
And so she was like, hey, just left, her gathering on the way or something like that. So
and you saw back.
It. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I was like, bet she's awake. She saw it.
Yeah. And then I doze off, right? And then the way it works in my building is that there's usually someone at the front desk, and they'll be able to like let you up, but into the elevator. But then obviously my doors are locked. My TV was louder than usual. So wasn't hearing her knocking or anything like that. And I'll let her tell her side of the point of where she can come in. But I essentially woke up to, I think you called me 7 times.
Yeah.
And my sister called me a couple times. And I didn't tell you this, but your dad, you were already on the way home. Your dad texts me like, hey, Mila, are you okay? Mariam said whatever.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, he's odd. Yeah. Because I literally said like, oh, it's good. Like, I saw her. Because they knew I was going to be here. Mm-hmm. Of course. But Jerry, he's like, okay. I won't say anything.
Yeah.
Like, you okay?
And thank God you didn't tell my mom.
Oh, no.
And then by the way, when I told my mom this whole funny story with my sister, she was like, thank God you didn't tell me. I was like, girl.
I knew. We literally all had understanding, like, no matter what, this is not going to your mom. Unless it obviously had to. Right. But, like, we didn't, like, you probably were, but you get it.
So she was like, and then also this is the one thing, I'm kind of backtracking, but then my mom goes like, ay, Mila, like, don't do that anymore. What, fall asleep? Like, I can't control
there always has to be a lesson learned.
I was just on a flight that day, like, I'm tired. You know what I mean?
But there always has to be a lesson learned.
Yeah, and I heard your mom is the one who's like, do not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so, I wake up, and my sister dragged me after. She's like, girl, you don't know what me and Mariam went through because you just texted like, hey girl, I'm up.
Yeah.
She's like, we've been freaking out for the last whatever. But anyways, Mariam was 2 seconds away from doing a wellness check, which if anyone doesn't know what a wellness check is, it's essentially where you feel as though your loved one is alone in their apartment or their place, and you need to do a check on them. And so either authorities come or the building authorities come, the front desk, because they have a key. So she was about to bust down my window because she was at my door knocking for about 20 minutes. You said
no, not your this door, but I was here for 5 minutes, but then obviously love you to death. But if there's someone in here, I can't defend you. So I said, okay, I'm gonna handle it downstairs. So did a quick little knock. Heard the tea. I said, went downstairs.
You said,
I literally ran. I said, went downstairs, and then that's when I got active. I was like, all right, let's handle this.
Right. Let's handle this. Yeah. And so then I woke up, and then literally I texted Mary back. This is horrible of me. I didn't even call her back. I just texted her hey girl,
yeah.
And then you were like, girl, you have no idea.
Remember, sorry to interrupt, but I showed her front desk, the concierge lady, a picture of her. And it was the one where she was right before she went to bed. And it was her with her glaze. She said, thumbs up, you do the face. She's literally sitting there about to knock. And I'm like, have you seen this girl around? And I'm trying to hold my laugh at the same time because I'm like, what is going on right now?
Also, the angle of that photo is from here. It's I look like a thumb, and it's not the most greatest photo or representation of me.
It was so funny.
And then after that, it was, obviously I was fine. But obviously red flags were going off in my cousin's head. Yeah. And I'll quickly let you tell your side of the story.
Yeah, so I get here, and obviously, she just had replied back to me, maybe 10 minutes before. So my head, you sleeping was genuinely, the last thing on my head. I was like, there's no way she'd sleep.
Right.
If anything, maybe, maybe she's showering. But even then, I was like, she wouldn't do that if I was on my way, So, genuinely, I'm a realistic person. I think logically, but I'm like, she just would not fall asleep within 10 minutes. Little did I know. Because you just told me the contacts were off, then it hit me.
That's it.
So yeah, I go upstairs.
Just drooling.
You were out, but I do a quick little knock at her door. The TV's super loud, and then you're not answering. And I'm like, oh, and I also I texted you a lot before that. Here, coming, and none of it was getting read. So I was like, okay, just whatever. She's on her phone. So I'm knocking. Like I said, I don't hear anything. So I'm like, oh, someone's in there. She's gotten got. So I ran downstairs. And why is my head even going there? But it's you know me. It's just at all. You know how our mind goes. Yeah,
you really do think the worst. I'll tell you what my sister thought, but go ahead.
Okay, and I thought maybe you got out the shower, fell, something just crazy. I just went downstairs. Then I'm calling. I'm thinking should I call Beza? But I don't want to stress her out. But I don't know who else to call. So I'm I'm not calling any parent adults because then they're gonna take it a whole other. So I was you know what? Let me just call Beza. Then I didn't tell you. I don't know if I told you this part. She's not answering. So now I'm thinking something happened. Not to you or her. Something happened to someone we knew, but you guys are both hiding it. So now I'm oh, I'm done for it. I'm walking around I call Ruth next. Who do I go? Who do I go in contact to?
Ruth doesn't answer. You're
yeah. But then I think I called my mom and she was okay. So I was okay, so we don't know. My family doesn't know anything. So I was because why is Beza not answering now? Yeah. So I was okay, God, something's really off. But then she called back and she's like, hey boo. And I was okay, clearly she's fine.
Twin?
Yeah. And I was oh, then in my head I'm oh, Beza's not in the loop yet. Maybe she's no. But then she's I was yeah, Mila's answer. She's yeah, Mary. She's she just got off the flight. And I was she got off the flight yesterday though. And she's okay, give me a sec. Let me call her. And quick hang up. And
that's when she said she freaked out. She's okay.
Yeah, and she went and she said she called you and you weren't answering still. And then I think we still were talking. We're okay. And she's then I could hear her trying to rationalize. She's she's sleeping there, but no bass in her voice because we both knew why would you still be sleeping right now? But I'm yeah, she's sleeping. She's sleeping. Yeah. But at this point, I had to.
Funny, but in the moment, it's actually terrifying.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But then I just felt better. At least basis she had her on my side. I had someone to talk with about this because I was just in my head about it. So I was okay, she's fine. And then I was okay, I have to drive home now. I can't stay here all night. But I told the lady your face. I showed her your face. And I said, let me know. I'll be back. God bless that lady downstairs too. She was so sweet. She's okay, I'll be on.
Which, by the way, is a couple days later when Mariam finally came over. When she went upstairs, she's here.
Yeah, and I was she was sleepy. She started laughing. But bless her because she was a real one. She was actually being should I call her up? She didn't know what to do.
Right.
So yeah, we were gonna do a wellness check, but I was you know what? That might be a reach right now. If this girl's laid out with Cheeto dust on her face, and
that's what she said.
With her, then I was gonna be
am I dressed?
Yeah,
all the things.
I would be mortified. So I was you know what? Let me just cool down. I'm gonna drive home and handle it there because now my pants will blow me up. So I'm on my way home, just left her house, and I get a hey boo. I'm like, you know what? But it was like the biggest breath of relief. Like, even though you were like, hey, I was like, okay, like we could breathe. And like Baze texted to us where it all worked out for the best though.
Yeah, but red flags are definitely, it just doesn't happen. I usually am really, really responsive. Yeah, and we were literally just texting. And even when Beza told me when we went over to my mom's house for Sunday dinner, when the first thing I got in the car when she picked me up, she's like, bitch, girl, the way that this is what Beza thought. Mm-hmm. My sister thought that I had gone down to the mailroom and had somehow gotten from going down to the mailroom.
That's so crazy because I thought of that too. Because there's people like while I was in the lobby, there's people going in the living room. And I was like, maybe she got like caught up there.
Yeah, literally. Because here's the thing, which was very sweet. Her and her boyfriend was basically like, she's not out in this, like she's not she's in bed by 7
she's
p.m.
Out. Yeah, I knew you weren't out.
Yeah. So they knew that. So they're like, it's just something weird that might have happened. And then she's like, the next thing, a lot of my family are medical professionals are like, okay, like how was her heart condition before? Like I'm 27, healthy, thank you, Lord. But like they were saying, you just never know. And then they also thought that like maybe I fell in the shower or something like that.
So she thought about these too.
Yeah. And so we've come up with a plan now. Like we're getting keys. Like now because I do live alone.
True. That honestly, you never know why these things happen.
And this is why you know us with our faith. We're like things happen for a reason.
100%.
So let's put things in order so we're always like safe. Yeah.
No, I'm glad.
Everyone has my location now. Like because I travel so much for work. Like all those things.
Because like you said, you do live alone, so it's like you have to be a little more hyper vigilant.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that was just a funny story.
I didn't know she thought about like that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And then what was just so funny is that like when we met up, we were at my mom's house, and then once my mom heard, she just was like getting me extra injera. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I'm fine. She's like, it's fine. Like she's like the thought of. Because she was like, yeah, I was like, Jerry knew, Mariam knew, Beza knew, Melissa knew. And she's like, I'm so glad you didn't tell me. I'm like,
100%. There was no way. And even on the phone with Beza and like her boyfriend too, like I think he overheard obviously, but even he was like, make sure like your mom is not in the loop right now. And I was like, we're not doing that.
And we all know this. Please comment down below. Sometimes that African parent or mom, like until they need to know, it's just best. Their blood. I consider their health more than
100%.
Like, are my emergency contacts are my siblings. Yeah, it was Frey for a long time because she was like the oldest cousin. Yeah, because I just what I mean? Like,
and also their heart rate is already like high. Like you don't want to do that to them.
Yeah, and then also
their
it's like
blood pressure
when they're calling and they're like, hey, she has this, or what is her blood type? Beza can't answer that
question.
She can't. Like, huh? You know what I mean? And I need help.
Yeah, you need someone quick on their toes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that was a funny story, guys. At the end of the day, it just taught me that I'm very loved and lucky for the family that I have. Sorry, 100%. Mary, I gave you that.
You took a 15-minute nap, and the whole village was like, Mila, like, and you wake up just like
same thing for you. But there's something in our brain that like we really go to the worst case scenario.
But why though?
Yeah, and we never say it out loud.
Yeah,
because the enemy is near. We just are just always just like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, she's fine. It'll be okay. Till the yeah.
That is very true.
It's funny looking back on it, but I know it's like not in the moment. But it's just funny because I just you know what I imagine that meme where like SpongeBob's brain like on the inside like paper all the little SpongeBobs are like flying around like with her press release or meeting, and I'm just here like
in the most like
getting good sleep. Getting good shut eye.
But like in the most like unselfish way, it was like just nice having Beza there too because I was like someone could like like someone gets my like pain right now because I was thinking of every single case scenario and like love the front desk lady, but like she doesn't know you, so she's like, right. Do you want me to ring her?
Also,
like
she's like, I
turn her job. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
I get paid $60
That's
an hour.
literally. Like, and then on top of that, like I know it's going crazy when I'm like people are going up to the elevator like in the middle and I'm going like, he looks kind of sus. Like I'm like starting to like profile people. Yeah. And now I'm like, all right, man, you need to call someone because now I'm going crazy. Like, I'm about to call the cops on them. I mean, this man just got his mail.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But I also learned that and I just need to get around to it. I'll do by the end of this week. I'm gonna give myself. You and Beza need to have a key. For many reasons. One, you could kiki here because remember those times where I'm not home, you could use my apartment, but also for safety purposes. Yeah, because you guys will react, and I don't need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just to be proactive and be on the case without having to be like blow over.
No, and I was really thinking like, damn, I've been meaning to get you a key for the times that you just want to come over, like
which but I'm always here anyway with you too. So
no, I know, but when I'm not in town,
true.
To chill here, just
with Base too.
Yeah, exactly. Like why not?
But you already know, if me and Base had a key that day, I would have busted in. I was like, she's here, officer.
The last thing I want to say about this, and then we'll move on to red flags, is that when we were at Sunday dinner, my mom tried to slip in there. She's like, I need a key too. And I was like, no, you would just pop in just to pop in. No. And she's like, she started dying. I was like, Beza, you get a key. Like, pop off.
You know
Beza's like, girl, I'm only here just to be okay. I'm trying to do my own life. But you know, my mom will come home whenever.
100%. She's like, I left my water here. Like, girl.
Yeah, like, girl.
But love her though. Love her.
Mommy, I love you. We
she's
love
the
all our
best.
moms.
Yeah.
They
know the vibes.
Yeah. We will be back, guys, after these short messages. All right, guys, we are back. That was just a shameless plug, so make sure you follow everywhere. So platforms, Firsties Pod, that's Firsties Pod everywhere, please and thank you. All right, guys, so we are now going to go into red flags. I've been inspired by the latest episode of Chunks and Philly show. I'm a big fan of them. One day they will be a guest on this show, manifesting that. Yes. Until then, we are going to be inspired by them and do their latest segment was red flags. And I thought it was a really good conversation. So me and Mariam are just going to go through the red flags here. Okay. So the first one that I want to think off the top of my head is, sorry, I just got distracted by a text message. I talked about it on a podcast before, but I want to get your feedback, Mare. Because me and Mariam, again, we're cousins, but we're very similar, but also certain things we are completely different. Yeah. Is he likes photos on IG.
Of other women?
Yes.
Are you asking me my feel on that?
Mm-hmm. No, I think
mine. With friends, I think it's cool. But if it's like girls that don't follow him back,
right?
That's a no-go. Because now it's like you are a fan on top that you have a woman.
I agree.
And I know how it feels like as a girl when like a guy who has a girlfriend is like being really active on your page, and it's like, but why are you like this?
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, if he's liking all this and doing all this for women that don't follow him back or like that have no relations with him at all, it's like, that's an egg.
I agree. I think this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I will die on this hill.
Okay.
I think it's a respect thing. Okay. And I'm not going to go comment on another guy or anything like that if I don't follow him, or if he knows it's a childhood friend or whatever, sure. But like someone that my partner does not know about, I just think it's a respect thing.
True,
because the internet is still, I consider like the internet like a public place. Just
People,
the way when you're at a restaurant, you're in a public area, and you're not going to act a certain way. When I'm single, I act a certain way. When I'm with someone, you know what I mean?
And you're getting still perceived on the internet.
Right.
You know?
And I think we need to do better, all of us, at like how our considering the other partner and how they're perceived. Yeah. Some people are like, it's not that deep. It's just a like. It's not just that. It's just how it's perceived for other people.
That's a big one, though.
Yeah.
It's really a perception.
A lot of people are going to think that like the social media world is like, it's not that deep. It's just like, so it's like, yeah. I'm not saying he's cheating on me or anything like that.
True.
But I'm also thinking like, just don't make me look crazy out here.
That's my point. You don't want to embarrass your partner.
Yeah.
But then everybody has different boundaries. Like some girls, like I know they really do not care. It's like, oh, like I have in real life, like I don't care.
Yeah.
Which it really is to each their own. But like you said, you are being perceived on the internet as well. So you don't want to embarrass your partner.
Yeah, right. Do you have a red flag that you want to share? I know you're looking for something.
I'll see, I can't say it's necessarily a red flag. Mm-hmm. I won't say it's a red flag, but I think it's just personal preference to me. I think guys who are very, very in tune with like their looks, like if you take longer than me to get ready, it's like there's an issue there.
Okay, let's flush this out. Are you talking about like hygiene? Or are you talking about like
like hygiene that's basic. That's not even that's bare minimum.
Flag out there.
But that's not a green flag. That's bare minimum.
That's true. Actually,
there's no.
Yeah, let me take that back. That's see, look, I need to work on that.
Because for women, that's not a green. Imagine a guy saying hygiene is such a good. No, that's the base. Like that's the baseline.
But you know how some guys really like the way they smell. It's a craft for them. Like it's like almost like a hobby.
Okay, then I will say that will be like going to them. That's an above and beyond thing. Not above and beyond, but like that's just an extra plus.
But
of,
you're
like, you really care.
That's
baseline.
Yeah.
But like if you care about like which cologne you're wearing, like that's like okay, that's maybe an extra step. But like I was saying, if you take way too long, like it comes down to like, and I guess you can be like a fashion-y, trendy type of person. But if you're like, no, but like my socks don't match the cut. No. Or like if it's like we're out and like let's say we're late to reservation, and he's like, but can you just take a picture of me right here real quick? Like it's I cannot.
I'm not going on that
and if it's
date.
more than me, which I do a lot. So if someone's doing it more than me.
Another unpopular opinion, I think that's a feminine thing a little bit. And you know what I mean?
But I think there's ways men can enjoy that side of like, they could, like I said, they just could be someone who's really creative and just like showing off their artistic side. But if it's something, it's an excessive, like if it's an excessive amount where like we're late and like you're like, you have to take these selfies, there's an issue right there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I would take it if you've accepted that that's his business or that like
exactly.
people get paid for it.
True. Yeah.
But homie is posting and like, come on.
That's my point where I'm like, okay, now you're taking a little bit a step, but that's I don't know if it's a red flag. I just think for me, that's just a personal like preference. Where I'm like, I just prefer not that to happen.
Yeah. Okay. What about this flag? We'll do a couple more. What about if he doesn't like your friends and he's requested, this is one on the show, and he doesn't really F with them. And so he's just like, I don't want you to hang out with this friend.
No, that's not happening.
I mean, that's not happening.
I mean, I have to have more context. If it's just like he was around them and he just like in his head was like, like they're just not my vibe. Well, great, because they're not your friends. So like, you know, they're my friends. And especially like, if there's like a valid reason where like maybe they're disrespecting him or the relationship, like there has to be like some solid reasons for me to cut my friend, like, or be like, it's just really rare. That would never happen. Because also sorry to interrupt, but your friends are there before your man is.
That's true.
They were there 10 years before I knew you. So unless it was something crazy, like they were like, it's like flirting with him, like something just crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not cutting off nobody. Sorry,
The reason why I said this is because when the roles are flipped, I do think there might be a double standard where like, because people say like, happy wife, happy life, or happy girlfriend, happy life too, where it's like, I don't think guys are going to understand this because we can see like 10 years down the road, or we can see peep stuff that maybe they can't.
Yeah.
And it's very much like, hey, I don't like who you around when you're around these guys or whatever, where we're very much like, we don't change when we're with our friends. Where guys are like, when they're around their guys, and then when they're with you, they're like, who the fuck is this asshole? We're like, I'm the Delulu girl, you're the trusty girl, you're the crazy
Everybody
girl,
has a role.
and we don't change. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't think guys understand that. So it can be a double standard, but it's because I see guys where they're like, well, if my girlfriend, some guys where if my girlfriend's like, I don't mess with your friends, or my wife says it, he'll be like, all right, I'm gonna like create some distance.
But like I said, even if it's for me to tell like a guy that like you can't be with that friend, I can't imagine just saying that unless there's like such a solid reason where like it was disrespectful to the point where like you can't be around them. But I don't think there should be room to be like cut that person off. Yeah,
and I also think a red flag is you don't like any of his friends. Like everyone has that one crazy friend, maybe a childhood friend or whatever. That's fine. But you don't like any of his friends, you're probably not going to like him eventually. He's just putting on an act or whatever.
And you know what they do?
That's just my feedback.
You are who you hang around with, you know?
That is the realest thing ever. You really are whoever you want to be, hang out with those type of people, you will be those type of people. Yeah.
100%. So what was the red flag? It was, telling your partner to cut off the friends.
Yeah. Like the guy says.
Yeah, I think if he just wakes up one day and he's like, don't like her. Sorry. She's not going nowhere.
That's a tough, awkward ass conversation to have. Yeah, that is.
That's something I can't allow.
Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think of one that I wrote down, actually.
I'll say.
Really quickly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, this has been like some themes that me and my friends talking about. I don't know if it's a red flag, but it's just tell me how you feel about it. It's, let's say it's your birthday, or this is actually kind of controversial. Like the girls been talking about it on Twitter too, but let's say it's your birthday, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you asked for, the term she used was a Texas Roadhouse gift card. And then let's say you also wanted like some Adidas slides. Nothing crazy, right? It's your birthday. And then he gets you like a Gucci bag. He bought you a star, which is, I don't know, you could do that. And then he gets you like Prada sunglasses. But you didn't get the Adidas slides, which is like cheaper, way cheaper than what he just got you in like the Roadhouse thing. How would you feel about that?
Good question. I would,
because it's like, do you listen to what I say? Did you buy these gifts because you felt good doing it, or do you actually care about what I wanted?
No, because it definitely is giving like he's trying to stunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, maybe take off like, okay, whatever. But it's just something very extravagant that you didn't ask for, but it's like, I just want Chick-fil-A, man.
Yeah. It's tough for me because like, a gift is a gift is a gift. So like I would just say thank you and move on. But then in the back of my head, I would be thinking like, hey, does he really know me? You know what I mean? Because those gifts that like really, really hit, whether it's like the girl who does want the Prada bag and she gets it, she's like, oh my God, thank you. And the girl who just wants a McDonald's gift card, like neither one is whatever, but it's just knowing. So maybe I'll have a conversation because that's like so far off.
Yeah.
Especially if you have the conversation like,
I just want this.
Yeah, it's just strange because we're in the conversation of gift giving and we should just be happy with whatever we get. But I get what you're saying as far as like how would you feel about it?
I would say like I just wanted the duty slides,
right?
Like, because it's like I get what you mean. It's like that was a very thoughtful gift. I'm not unappreciative, but it's like
you'd say thank you.
Yeah, you'd say thank you, but it's more of do you know me? Like, do you listen to what I say?
Yeah.
Have you heard about my requests? Like,
I will give you an example. Not a guy, but a family member got me a pretty extravagant gift when I was younger. Obviously, I'm not gonna name names, and it was really really nice, but like never wore it once, and I re-gifted it. Because I was just, when I got it, I was like, oh, this is really cool. But it was like, were you shopping for yourself or were you shopping for? And then on the flip side, I got, you were there with my brother. You guys went thrifting together. He got me a Saturday Night Live t-shirt with Chance the Rapper on the back. I cried.
And but do you see how that was like maybe like a what, $20 gift? But it's the thought of behind. It's like,
no, it's
you
like
thought
he
about
saw
me.
that and was like, and I wear it. I like it. I wear it to sleep all the time.
Exactly.
And he was saying like, one day when you get on the show, and I was like,
that's so thoughtful.
it was literally the most thoughtful
But
thing
he
ever.
could have gotten you like, let's say a Gucci bag, which is obviously 10 times more expensive. But it's like, oh, thank you. But like, but I don't need this.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
nor did I ask for it.
Yeah.
So
I get kind of uncomfortable with those things, but that's just me.
But yeah, I guess
I interrupted you.
You're good. But I think just like the red flag in that is just like, are you listening to me? Like, are you said it's, I think Ruth said this, it's like, it's feeding their own ego. Like, I did this.
Absolutely would. Like, just flexing, really.
Yeah.
Like, I could do this or whatever. Because some men, or some people, I shouldn't say men, people in their own relationships, they're in love with themselves. They're like, I did that for her or whatever. Like, I'm killing it as the boyfriend or girlfriend. It's like, babes, are you actually like listening?
Are you doing it for me or for yourself?
Yeah.
Like, why did you get me?
I'm very young, but I'm saying like all that relationship is communication and also just like thinking of the other person. Like
being attentive, yeah.
That's consideration, which is one of the most sexiest qualities. That's all it is. That is all it is.
So it's really simple, but people just overcomplicate it.
Yeah, exactly. With everything, we all complicate it. Too. Us Dulu girls too, but everyone too. Okay, I'm not just gonna put it on us. Like all of us do. Another red flag that I have is that he hangs up on his mom.
What do you mean?
Like, say you guys are at dinner or whatever, and then they get an argument or whatever, or anything, and he just...
No. Because if you're treating your mom like that, who am I to you?
Thank you.
You're nobody, babe.
Exactly. I'm going to be next in line.
Yeah. Like, he's not treating you any better. I think that's the biggest red flag.
I also think... This could be the amount of times I'm saying like unpopular opinion, but men who come from sisters versus men who come from brothers, to my observation, in my experience, wildly different. Not better or worse, but just different.
Yeah,
that's just my feedback.
So they've had a different experience growing up.
Oh my God, yeah.
How they treat.
But then it's like, do you want to be with like a mama's boy? I don't know about that, but I just want you to adore her and respect her and all the things, the way that we do in our upbringing.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. Like they're like our queens. Yeah, that's definitely a red flag.
I will say, like, you respecting your mother is great, but there's like the other side of the extreme where it's like being too much of a mama's boy, where you're like, you expect your partner to baby you. That's a big red flag. I'm not wiping your face with a napkin every time you're gonna eat. Like, I'm not your mom at the end of the day.
And sometimes, because we're talking about firsties, firsties experience, sometimes the different cultures that we're in, the immigrant families,
they baby their sons.
They absolutely do. And also some women as well. Like they definitely go, which there's nothing wrong with it, but they go from their father's home to their husband's home. My feedback on that is also just, it's 2024. Yeah. And obviously everyone's means are different. And like, this is a very much privileged conversation, but I don't necessarily agree with that approach. But yeah, like mama's boys and stuff, like, yeah, no. I think what it is for me is I would love to be a pretty giving and nurturing partner, but because that comes from my green heart, not because it's an expectation. The expectation drives me crazy, and I already know family members that are going to click off or text me right now while they're watching this. Be like, babes, what? that's just me though.
That's no, but you're right. We also grew up in a different generation than they did.
Gender,
So.
like the whole thing. We're on for tangent. Ooh, getting heated. But yeah, the mama's boy definitely
not doing that.
Definitely a red flag. Yeah, definitely a red flag.
Okay. So how do you feel about female best friends?
So here's the thing: is that I would like for my partner to, and this is why I keep on saying partner. I think partner is different from like talking. Like this is your partner, right?
You guys have been together,
yeah. Whether it's boyfriend or husband. I actually do think men and women can be friends, possibly.
Okay.
I failed many times. If if the woman holds a boundary.
Okay, that makes sense.
I just don't think men can be friends with women.
Which is sad.
At any given time, you drop that wall and they're ready to go. That's just my feedback. That's just my experience.
Yeah.
Comment down below what you guys think. And so if I think it's just healthy where you do become one and we share friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if there's a friend that you just have, but I also want to be like, I just want to trust my partner, but I'm not inexperienced enough to be like, this is what it is. So I don't want to like regret this episode in a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But you said that. You know what I mean? Because now it's documented.
But it makes this, I feel like this is like an open enough, like you put a good ground to it.
Yeah. I think it could potentially be a red flag. I think if you are questioning it, then it like.
Or there's just be boundaries.
Absolutely. And here's the thing is when they're like, they can't be calling my house at 2 a.m. I'm like, babes, like booty calls happen at 2 p.m. too. Like,
literally.
Affairs happen in broad daylight. Homies at work. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
Very much real.
Yeah. So I just would want to be with a partner who just considers me in all of it. Same with like the liking on Instagram that we went back to.
Same with
like,
that, yeah.
Just how would Mila feel in this situation?
Or
like,
how would you feel if you had, or how would he feel if you had a male best friend?
Yeah, I think he might feel some type of way.
Yeah.
But here's my thing is this is where I've actually been in this situation before and I was pretty uncomfortable with it because this is incorrect of me, but what I heard is that you don't trust me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, well, I see the way that he's looking at you or whatever. I can't control that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially with, you know how like when we go out or whatever, you know, we like to look nice and all those things. Like, it does not. Sometimes guys are bold. It doesn't matter if I'm with a guy. Other guys still step, which is still crazy. That's disrespectful AF. But I can't control that.
That's something you can do though. If you're just sitting on your own doing nothing, like you can't.
Yeah, there's a way I could respond for sure.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But absolutely. And I think if you're looking in the lens of what's going on, you're gonna find something. But you know what I mean? Even if I don't mean it that way. I think women can be friends with men, but I do not think men could be friends with women. I just don't. Just from my experience. I've been burned a million times. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I
think it really just depends on who the man is too. If he has discipline and like, there's certain criteria where I will say like, most men, if you have a moral compass and you'll be disciplined enough to just not be able to do anything with men. I don't want to group all men in that category though.
For sure.
So like there could be some where like they have enough like self-control to just have a woman friend and not do anything.
Oh my God.
Like, which is like,
I have to believe good men are out there.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah. I'm not married yet. Like, Lord, please.
And they are. I think as you get older, it was age too.
Yeah, that's true. I want to do a lighthearted one and then we'll wrap up. Red flag, or it could be an ick, really. Yeah. Bad hygiene.
There would be no like step 2 next, like no. There's no second date.
But is there levels to it, or like?
I'm not saying you have to have like,
are you saying like he needs to have a fresh shape up every single time?
No.
The bare minimum, like that, like brush your teeth, like good breath, smell nice. No BO,
I'm not gonna like track every single step you do.
And this goes for women as well.
Yeah, you don't have to have 100-step like facial routine.
And
like
some men do, and I think that goes back
skincare.
To your other, which is like
because I'm like, I don't even have that like long of a skin.
Where's my toner?
Yeah, that's what, I don't even have toner. It's like you can't be crazier than me, but like you said, I think if you want to call it bare minimum, like you have to smell nice, shower well, and not like those little like cold showers they take like head. What is it called? Head, shoulder, toes. The little
everything shower.
Yeah, no. There should be like have shampoo, conditioner, have an exfoliator if you can, please. But yeah, I think there's different levels to it, but you don't have to have a 100-step skin
I'll tell
routine.
you a quick story that just recently happened at the trip that I went to. I was sitting with some of my friends, and there was a Bottega bag on the table. Okay. Right? Us women know what Bottega bags are. Yeah. Because they're all the rave right now. It was my friends who walked away. And then another person walked up and said hi to all of us, like greeted all four of us. There was 2 guys that were there, and then me and another girl. Mm-hmm. And as he was walking away, he's like, oh, it's a nice Bottega bag, and walked away. I looked at my guy friend and said, why does he know what that is? Yeah. And my guy friends died laughing. He's like, why? I was like, no. I said to my friend, I'm not going to say his name for respect. I said, let's say his name is Matt. Yeah. Whatever. So I go, Matt, what kind of bag is that? Like, can you tell me like what? And he's like, it's gold. I was like, right. I was like, I'm really attracted to the masculine men who have nothing. They don't know what they just know what color. They don't know anything. And then he was like, and then my guy friend, he's like, actually, yeah. He's like, the younger guys now are just more, they're just more on the feminine side, which is totally fine. Like, because you want that energy too. Just like you want some women who have a little bit with their masculine side. We have all the levels. And be in tune with it, yeah. Yeah, but the way he just came off, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, how do you know what that is? Yeah, I literally was like, how do you know what that is? And I was like, it is cute, isn't it? Like, I was stressing. You know what type of bag, the name? Confidence, and then moved on. And like, really lovely guy, know his wife, like the whole thing. But I was just like, what is going on? So that could be like an ick. Yeah. The one thing I found also, I was watching a YouTube, and then we'll wrap up. If a grown man said, there's not a red flag, it's more of an if he says, I love how this episode turned to red flags and icks. Yeah. If he says twin, I'm out. Really? I've seen it on the 20 verses that we watched. Yeah, yeah. When they're like, hey, twin, a grown man saying to another grown man, hey, twin. Yeah. I say it as a joke just now to you. True. I think it's just, I don't know if it's like, I think it's Atlanta lingo. I think maybe. I'm just not. But I'm not into that either. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not with it. Yeah, I'm just not. Maybe as a joke. Back the masculine man. I'm just really into, Till, obviously, to an extent. Yeah. Yeah. That was a good one though. Yeah. No one's calling me twin. Right. No. Do you have any red flags before we wrap up? I'm now like going through like all the red flags that I have. That's what I'm saying. That I need to work on. But that could be for another episode. I was gonna say we could do our own red flags too next episode. Yeah, that's true. Ooh, comment down below if you want to see our red flags. And I'll be honest, because babes, we talk about it. We're in the trenches. And I feel like we've grown from them too. Like for sure. That's what we like to tell ourselves. Yeah. We're the Delulu girls. We're just like, exactly. No, we are. But I feel like this time we actually did grow from them. Like we did. Like, no, come on, put some respect on Renee. Like we did. But we'll get into it next episode. Yeah, we will. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, listening, viewing, and subscribing. Make sure you follow us everywhere on Firstiespod. That's Firstiespod. Thanks, Mara, for being behind the camera and producing. This is definitely your seat. I love it. I love it too. I'm not on camera. I know. Yeah. I feel like it's time and whatever, but I love it. Yeah. We are gonna go get some good on grub now, and I have to then pull her into the tea of my life because again, trenches. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next episode. Take care, guys.